Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. And something I thought I would do here is I wanted to go back and revisit one of my very early videos. As you know, on One Rental at a Time, we produce a lot of content. We have a daily show at 7:30. We have experts 7 days a week. We do a live Q&A on Saturday. But one of the things I wanted to go back to is I want to go back to a presentation I did in 2018. 2018, February 1st was the first day of financial freedom. Actually, I think it was February 3rd or February 4th. But anyways, early February 2018. And it was that event that showed me that one rental at a time works. It was the jump off point for what became a book, a YouTube channel, a course, and all of that. One of the first things I did is I went to a lot of real estate meetups. And what I found yesterday or the day before was a presentation from 2018. I wanted to go through it again with you. It really talks about the power of 4, why getting to 4 rentals is important. It gives you an introduction to Olivia and I's story. If you are new to the channel or been with the channel only a year or so, you may not have heard some of these details. But yeah, I wanted to commiserate. It's been about 4 years since this presentation was first created. So I'm going to pull it up. We're going to go through it together. I will be looking at my computer because that's where the slides will be. But come along. Let's revisit 2018, if you don't mind. Okay. So again, I created this for a good friend's event, Jim Ingersoll. 2018. I forget what he calls his event. It may come to me. Anyways, I don't remember. But anyways, he asked me to talk about the power of getting to 4. So let's get into it. So again, the agenda, what we're going to go through is we're going to give you a little bit of our story. We're going to talk about why getting to 4 properties, I think, is the right goal for most people. We're going to talk about the keys to starting out. We're going to talk about 3 common ways people get started on the path to 4. Scenario 1, you have a little bit of money. Scenario 2, you want to buy, repair, rent, refi, repeat. Again, remember, this presentation was from 2018 when I created this. Scenario number 3, you have no capital and no access. And then finally, I will close with some core beliefs from 2018. So let's get into it. So here's our story. Olivia and I were both full-time employees. We were buy and hold landlords that live in one city and invest in another. We live in a high-priced area and rent in a more affordable area, or have rentals in a more affordable. We were very, 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 very busy, as most of you are. I traveled 100,000 miles or more in the air, and I hated every single flight. Spent 100 nights or more in hotels. Worked 80 plus hours a week, worldwide responsibilities. I had a job that was very, very stressful. Every 90 days, I could be fired for lack of performance, and it did happen. Invested and built a market 2.5 hours away. For us, it was driving 2.5 hours, but a lot of you can get lots of places in 2.5 hours with air travel as well. We did have a little bit of seed capital. We had $40,000. It was left over from a stock market that crushed us. We were crushed by the .com crisis. I lost $150,000, and we built a decent sized portfolio. We bought out of the MLS, multiple listing service. For most of you watching, this would be realtor.com, Zillow, Redfin. We had no special access, no door knocking, no direct marketing, no texting, no VAs, nothing. We looked at the MLS and we wrote offers. We leveraged the market cycle. I would now call that recycling capital. I didn't call it that back in 2018. We did 1031 exchanges. We raised millions of dollars in private money as banks turned off right when deals got really good. We retired. Here I say February 1st. I think actually it was February 3rd or 4th, but you get the gist. And Olivia had retired 5 years before that. So about 2013 or so. I published a book called One Rental at a Time. It was in draft form here still. I started a YouTube channel. I think when this was created, I had less than 500 subscribers. We did start buying distressed properties, repair, lease, and sell. I call them pride of ownership rentals. At the creation of this, we had done 10. I did end up completing about 56. And the average profit was, I think over the 56 was down slightly from this, but still really good. So that's our story. And in order to do those, we did create a lending program that I called the 6 and 20. I did have a note created by a California attorney because that's where my lending was, where I basically paid 6% interest only. And we gave them 20% of the profit. And we were able to raise millions of dollars by doing that. We no longer do that as we haven't found deals in a long time, but it was the only way we could do 56 deals is we leveraged private capital and we paid our investors handsomely. Why 4 rentals? 4 is not a scary number. Everybody believes they can get 4. I sometimes talk about our portfolio and people go, I can't do it. Not me, too big. You talk about bigger is better. People believe they can't do it, things of that nature. 4, 1 a year, 1 every 2 years. I think most of you should believe it's possible. That's what I talk about. 4, 4, 4. Let's get to 4. If you get to 4, then we go to 10. After 10, it's up to you. Let's go from 0 to 1, 1 to 4, 4 to 10. You don't need to talk about 100. You don't need to talk about 1,000. Let's just talk about 4. 4 are easy to finance. Folks, there was a time where you could only get 4 loans. Today the answer is 10, but who knows what the future will bring? Could we go back to 4? Maybe. FHFA is currently making it harder for investors. They are adding on fees and costs. So it is not impossible to believe that this could get worse. I believe having 4 rentals that appreciate over time with rent increases and tenants paying, you will be in a great place. Remember, I created this in 2018. If you had 4 rentals in 2018, you probably are up 50% on appreciation and you're up 50 or 60% in rent. You are doing good. And I believe this will continue going forward. Please, please, please get fixed rate debt. 4 allows you greater flexibility. In 10 to 30 years, do you sell one, pay the others off if you want to go Dave Ramsey? Do you refi one every 2 or 3 years to recycle capital? 4 rentals give you options. When you get to 4 rentals, you will know for certain if you want to stop or if you want to move to 10. If you want to stop at 4, congratulations, I want to shake your hand. If you want to go to 10, by all means, go get that cheap 30-year money. So keys when starting out: never, ever, 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 ever bet on appreciation. I do not use appreciation in any of my calculations. It happens. It's extra. It's gravy. It's whipped cream, whatever you want to call it. Do not bet on appreciation. Always use conservative financing. No short-term debt, no variable rate debt, no adjustable rate mortgages, no 6-month, no 12-month terms, no 90-day debt like Dave Ramsey when he went bankrupt. Hold for the long term. We will go through cycles. Think return on time over return on investment, right? It's not about quick turns of cash. Make sure the time you spent is used wisely. No alligators. It was the only picture in my original book, One Rental at a Time. No negative cash flow. None. Don't create them. Don't buy them. I tell you how I made my mistake in my first book. Not good. These were things I was thinking about back in 2018. There's an acronym: cash rich, asset poor. It stands for crap. It's the wrong way to live. Lots of folks that I knew in 2018 had a lot of cash, but didn't have any assets. Not a good way to live. You can't save your way to retirement. At least most of us can't. And if you do save your way to retirement, it takes too long. It takes 40, 50 years. It's not the fastest way. I believe getting to 4 conservatively financed rentals is a far better way. If you want to get to 4 conservatively financed rentals and 401k and Social Security and a pension, awesome. Let's have more than one way to retire financially free. Buy and hold. Think 10 years minimum, if not forever. I am not the get rich quick. I am not the flip guy. I'm none of that stuff. Think 10 years minimum. Focus on your core, secure your capital, manage your team, finding deals, right? I now call it buy box daily discipline. These were all things I was talking about in 2018. So you have some seed capital, good credit, but crazy busy life. That was us. You have credit or access partners with credit and your network with private and hard money if you want to BRRRR. And then you have no money, no connections. What do you do? So let's talk about that. Scenario 1, that was us. We bought North Drive. I've talked about it a bunch, put it on Zillow. 9 months later, we bought another one, and then we bought another one. Now we're out of money. Our 40 grand is gone. What is this? About a year and a half, we're out of money. So about 27 months into this, we did a cash out refi, a little bit over 2 years. We pulled money out and we bought more. 1 year later, we refied our next 2 and pulled money out and bought more. This is now what I call recycling capital. I did not know what to call it back then in 2018. This is just a perfect example of recycling capital. Clearly, in my first refi, I took too much money out. I talk about that in our first book, One Rental at a Time. But yeah, recycling capital is very, very powerful. 3 to 4 years, we had 6 houses with the same amount of money, and we had some appreciation and refinance. And oh, by the way, we had an alligator. Norris Drive was an alligator because we took out too much money. Scenario 2, we bought a property called Nevada. We actually owned a couple on that street. This is an example of BRRRR. We got a private money lender for the purchase price. We paid 12% interest only, or $700 a month. We borrowed the funds, have the funds to repair. In this case, if you borrowed it, it'd be $400. We did not. We had the money, but again, you could borrow. So now you're up to $1,100. Value after remodel was $169, and we could lease it for $1,250. We got bank financing at 70%, $118. We did have to wait 6 months for a seasoning period, but we were able to pay off the first and second in this example. And the other 8 grand was basically transaction costs. So yeah, we basically had a property on Nevada free and clear. Not free and clear, none of our own money, excuse me. We own Nevada after this BRRRR process with none of our own money. I was doing BRRRR long before it was nicknamed at Bigger Pockets. In fact, back in 2009, 10, I was writing about Nevada. I was a featured writer on Bigger Pockets before Brandon Turner got there. And I wrote about properties and doing BRRRRs back then. So we paid off our lender. We got back our repair costs. The extra money was really for transaction costs. So again, very cool. And we had real cash flow. Our new mortgage payment was $625, where our rent was $1,250. So BRRRR properties can work. Either have the cash or have the access to cash. Number 3, no cash, no access. First, you need to understand lots of very successful people in real estate start exactly where you are. You must focus your energy on becoming the asset. You must become knowledgeable, and sellers must like you and your ability to create chunk money. You must find sellers, owners. You must find investors, right? You are the go-between. You are the ham and the egg, if you will. You, the individual, must become the asset. If you don't have money, you got to become the asset. You have to know what a deal is. You have to find and attract buyers and sellers. Buyers, time constrained. They want to work with you, right? You have to be able to find their deals. You have to be a deal finder. Again, remember, I was writing about this in 2018. This is basically wholesalers. Today, I would call this wholesalers. I don't know what they were called in 2018. Sellers, again, time, condition. You have to help them solve a problem. This is the same thing today in 2022. If you don't have any money, You have to be able to attract sellers who have problems, and you have to find buyers that have money. That is your job. So here are some of my core beliefs. Financial freedom starts with playing good defense. I talk about it all the time. You need to understand your disposable income. You need to increase that. For most of you, that starts with reducing expenses. Live where you want, but invest where the numbers make sense. I tried to invest where I live. It wasted a year. Nothing makes financial sense where I live. So I found a market somewhere else. Being cash rich, asset poor is no way to live. Inflation eats it away. It doesn't help you. I now have a shirt on my website, One Rental at a Time, that says, I use inflation to get rich. Go check it out. It's an amazing shirt. Arch, asset rich, cash happy is a much better way to live. That's where I am now. Again, asset rich, cash happy. Know your acquisition requirements, cold, and execute when you find a deal. Today, I would call this know your buy box. Know what a good or great deal is. Again, I wrote this presentation before I created a course. This was like when I had 300 or 400 subscribers on YouTube. So now it's called Buy Box, Daily Discipline, Good and Great Deals. Real estate investing will test you over and over and over again. I actually have it on my ORET rules, which were created long after this. Number 5, bad things will happen. Sorry, learn and move on. Couples must be committed to the story, committed to this 100%. Again, the Norris Drive story. It's the only reason that Olivia and I are still doing this, because we were bought in together. Norris Drive, I wrote about it in my book. It's not a great story. Go buy it on Amazon. Link is below. Link to both my books is below. One Rental at a Time and 15 Conversations with Real Estate Millionaires. Affordability Index saved my butt. If you don't know what that is, you can search for it on my channel. Just type in Affordability Index. 3 quality differences. Know your properties, know your market. Junk, slumlord, slight remodel, and turnkey. Understand the numbers, understand the difference. It's something very important I talk about in my course a lot. And then finally, real estate is a people business and not a business that's won with spreadsheets. As I talk about in my first book a lot, I made this mistake. Don't do it. It's a people business. Network, meet 2 people. As I talk about in my course, challenge yourself to meet 2 new people a week and you will be better off. The only deals I did the last 2 years were because of my network, because the market was just too hard. In the end, there is my book, and I didn't even realize this. I actually included my email, which I don't normally do anymore, but what the hell, I'll leave it here. mzuber at One Rental at a Time. So this was fun to revisit this presentation from 2018. I did not change a thing other than I did add the book cover on the last page. But yeah, that was kind of fun. So hope you enjoyed that. The Power of 4, getting started. You can see the beginnings of my course in this presentation, or at least I can. Buy Box, Daily Discipline, Good, Great, Network. All of that stuff is in there. Thanks for watching.